This is DJ Time Machine. Today, I'm going to tell you the story of Rapunzel. Rapunzel. Once upon a time, in a land far, far away, there lived a husband and wife. For many years, they dreamed of having a child. But no matter how long they waited, their wishes never came true. One day, the wife looked out of her window and saw a beautiful garden. It belonged to a fearsome witch, and behind its tall walls grew the freshest, greenest vegetables. Among them was a bright leafy plant called Rapunzel. It shimmered as if touched by dew and starlight. The wife could not resist it. She longed for just one taste. Day by day, her desire grew unbearable until she became weak and pale. Seeing his wife suffer, the husband made a desperate choice. He would sneak into the witch's garden to bring her the Rapunzel she craved. Under the pale moonlight, the husband climbed the wall, picked a handful of Rapunzel, and hurried home. The wife ate it and immediately felt better. But the next day, she wanted more. The husband returned to the garden, but this time, the witch caught him. Her eyes flashed with fury as she demanded an explanation. Terrified, he begged for mercy. The witch agreed, but only on one condition. When their child was born, they must give the baby to her. Shaking with fear, the husband accepted. When the child was born, the witch came at once and took her away. She named the baby Rapunzel, after the very plant that had caused everything Rapunzel grew into a gentle, kind-hearted girl with hair as golden as sunlight, long, soft, and unbelievably beautiful. But the witch feared that Rapunzel would one day learn about the world and leave her behind. So she decided to hide Rapunzel away. Deep in the forest, the witch built a tall, tall tower. It had no door, no stairs, only a single window at the top. Rapunzel was locked inside. Only the witch came to visit her. Standing beneath the window, she would call out like a spell, "Rapunzel, Rapunzel, let down your hair." And Rapunzel would lower her long golden braid, allowing the witch to climb up. Many years passed. Rapunzel spent her days looking out at the sky and singing soft, gentle songs. Her voice was so pure that birds flew to her window. Trees swayed to her melody, and the river carried her voice far across the land. One day, a young prince wandered through the forest. He heard a voice so beautiful that his heart trembled. Following the sound, he found the tall tower rising into the sky, but he could not find a door. For days, he stayed nearby, trying to uncover the tower's secret. Then, one night, he witnessed something extraordinary. The witch approached the tower, called out her familiar words, and Rapunzel's golden hair fell from the window. The prince watched in amazement as the witch climbed up. After she left, the prince stepped forward, gathered his courage, and called out the same words, Rapunzel. Hearing the voice from above, lowered her hair, and the prince climbed into the tower. She was startled at first, but the warmth in the prince's eyes melted her fear. From that day on, he visited her in secret. They shared stories, laughed together, and listened to the forest winds drift through the night. The prince promised her a life of freedom, a life filled with love. But the witch soon discovered the truth. Furious, she cut off Rapunzel's golden hair and banished her to a lonely desert. Rapunzel wandered the wasteland, cold winds biting at her cheeks, tears falling through endless nights. Meanwhile, the prince returned to the tower as usual. He climbed the golden braid, only to find the witch waiting for him. Shocked and heartbroken, he leapt from the tower. Below were thorny bushes, and the prince landed among them, losing his sight. Blind and devastated, he wandered through forests, fields, and deserts, calling Rapunzel's name. Rain soaked him, winds pushed against him, snow chilled his skin, but his heart never let go of hope. Then one day, he heard a familiar voice, a soft, gentle song carried by the wind. Rapunzel. He followed the sound and finally found her. She embraced him, crying tears of joy. And when her tears touched his eyes, a miracle happened. Light returned. The prince could see again. They looked up at the sky together, smiling through tears, their hearts filled with peace. Rapunzel and the prince returned to his kingdom, where they were welcomed with celebration and love. At last, they lived freely and happily together. Rapunzel's tower was no longer a prison. It became a place of legend, a reminder that true love can break even the darkest spells. People would say, greed locks us away, but sincerity sets us free. And the story of Rapunzel and the prince, who chose love over fear and hope over despair, continues to bring courage and warmth to hearts all around the world. That's all for today's story. You've been listening to DJ Time Machine. See you next time.